So, welcome to the Confidence in Action podcast. I'm Coach Tony from My Personal Best Coaching. Around here, confidence isn't a feeling, it's what we do next that counts. Each episode in this podcast unpacks some real stories from the youth sports arena. We'll be talking to parents, athletes, and some coaches, and we'll unpack a simple tool every time we do this podcast you can use straight away and provide you with one clear step as we move on. Today, I have the great pleasure of introducing my very first guest on the podcast. This is my first guest, and it's Shoba. Shoba, I'm going to let you say your last name just because I know that I'll muck it up.
Thank you, Coach Tony. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be the first guest in this new podcast system because I'm looking forward to watching all of it because as a parent, as an individual, I can really use all those techniques in my everyday life, right? I have to take care of my teenage daughter, which is not an easy job, looks like. And also I can use some techniques to build confidence at the place I work with my team. It's going to be useful everywhere, right? So I'm glad to be here. My name is Shoba Venkitachalam. I am excited to hear more.
Brilliant. Excellent. So let's get into that. So let's jump into parenting first off. You're parenting a teenage daughter. And one of the things that I always say is parenting is not easy because we don't have a manual for this type of work, right? Every kid doesn't come with a do these steps. And so we make it up as we go along half the time. And then we bring in this idea of coaching a student athlete. And that brings up a whole new level of parenting stress and strain, because now we've got this athlete to take care of, as well as her being a student, and we want the best for them in the future. And so what are some of those challenges you face on the student athlete side of things? Let's start there. Let's start on the sidelines. What are some of the challenges, Shoba, that you face with a student athlete as a daughter?
One of the things, how much ever they say that they love soccer, they want to play all that, but oftentimes, one of the things I face is, and we've talked about it offline, Coach, is how to help them manage their time, right? How to be on time for your training, how to be on time and make sure that you're super excited and you have that ritual before you go on and play your game. So how do you build consistency? Right? And you always talk about consistency. That is the magic formula I want to learn. And as you said, it's not one size fits all, right? You have to understand your kid and then use these techniques, mix and match to guide them better.
Absolutely. And when you're talking about this, it's the being on time, it's being consistent. Tell me more about the challenge that you're facing with your daughter, Isha. I know Isha well. I coach her. She's a wonderful kid. But yes, tell me some of the, I believe I've got an answer to this, but I want to hear from you first. What's a challenge that you're facing with her to get her where she needs to be on time?
I think maybe I'll start with my own thinking here, right? You have to be early for everything, right? That's my thing. It doesn't have to be the rule because it works very well for me, right? Because I don't like to be asked questions by anybody, hey, why were you late? I don't even want to face it, right? Maybe there is a certain fear in my head, but the absolute thing is, how can I make sure she's always on time or early enough in there? So she is there, good to go. You don't have a lot of so I try to push it, and I think her personality is different, right?
Yeah.
And then if I push, she has this tendency to resist maybe.
Yeah,
Right. So sometimes
absolutely.
on purpose, she's resisting and showing, I'm going to take my own time to come. Right. Because you're always hurrying me up. I don't like to be hurried up.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find ways of motivating her. And that's where I want to talk to you and see what's your experience working with so many athletes for years and years. And I'm sure I'm not the first parent talking about this timing issue, right? Like how to be on time. I say if you're on time, in my books, you're late. Right. So, and she literally hates it.
A couple of technical issues, but we're good to go. We're back. And Shoba, you were just sharing with me some of the challenges you have with Isha and the fact that your idea of timing is important to you. It's a value to you to be on time. And this is one of the struggles we have in communication issues, and especially when it comes to timing, is our value is to be on time, but that doesn't necessarily mean the person that we're talking to and we're working with, that their value aligns with ours, right?
Mhm.
In this situation, it's actually a really simple fix. Um, our value is to be on time.
Mhm.
Timeliness is important to us. Instead of projecting that value onto whoever we're talking with, is we want to find out what are the blocks that are getting in the way of her owning her being on time. Okay, so the first thing is to have an inquisitive, curious mind and
Mhm.
just ask simple questions like, and this is, I understand this is not easy, mother to daughter, but understanding that if practice starts at 7, right, you know how long the drive is from your house to the practice field.
Mhm.
So we track back 7. If it takes 15 minutes, 6:45, we've got to
Mhm.
be there at 7, so we need to leave at 6:45. Then you can ask her, how long does it take her to get ready for soccer?
Mhm.
15 minutes. So now we're at 6:30. And then what you can now start to do is then ask her, okay, why don't you want to be there at 7 or 5 minutes to 7,
Mhm.
right? And do you know why she doesn't want to be there early?
Sometimes it's just to like you said, it's just to annoy me, right? Because she knows that she can get a reaction out of me.
Right.
Yeah, and then she's like, some of my friends are not going, so I just want to be there on time and do practice, right? Sometimes it's a motivation. They want chit chat and giggle and warm up, all
Yeah.
of that, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a hidden reason, like you said, unless you ask,
Yeah.
you don't
You don't
find
know.
out.
And so there is a protective system in every human being. And so what happens is she's sitting there looking at practice starting at 7 and then thinking, well, if I get there early, that 5 minutes I'm going to be on my own. So what do I do? That's scary for a teenager to be on her own. Or I might be with a player that I don't necessarily connect with well, because you have that at teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Our team gets on really well, but there are still players that don't necessarily connect well.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a teenager to have to sit there for 5 minutes in awkward silence is awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So the brain is now sitting there going, I don't want to do that. That's
Mm-hmm.
scary. That's scary place for me to be. How can I protect myself from being there? I know. I'll just slow everything down. So what we believe as parents is she's just doing that to annoy me to get a
Mm-hmm.
reaction. So that pushes my buttons because a value has been trodden on, which is the value is being on time. So button pushed, she's doing it on purpose. When actually, when we dig deeper, it's not really on purpose to get a reaction. It's really a protection mechanism for her to protect herself and sit there and say, I don't want to be in an awkward silent situation. I don't want to be there on my own early. And I don't want to be there early because coach might ask me an awkward question. Because when players get there early, I sometimes kind of step in there and say, "How's things going? What's been going on today? What's your day like?" That, and kids are like, "I don't want to do that," right? And so it's scary, and so she's responding from a place of fear,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it seems like she's pushing your buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we manage this? So, it takes 15 minutes to get there, 15 minutes for her to get ready. You know that you want to be there at 5 to 7, 7 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
at the latest.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we can actually manage this is say, all right, I know the timing. You, mother, knows the timing. But I'm going to add 5 minutes to each of those. And so now preparation starts at 6:20, which
Mm-hmm.
gives you a 10-minute chunk of time to actually start the preparation going. And your job now is to get her to the parking lot at 5 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Parking lot at 5 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the parking lot, you've got a choice. Okay, you can now sit in the car with me.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit in the car on your own while I go for a quick 5-minute walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Safety. Car is safety, right? She's on her
Mm-hmm.
own. She
Yeah.
can listen to her music.
Yeah.
And then if someone she's connecting with gets there early, she can actually get there on time then in that case,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, total sense, because sometimes she's like, "We are too early here, mom, because you rushed me. I'm gonna sit in the car, and I'm gonna listen to music." That's what exactly she does
Yeah.
that. And then when it is like 2 minutes to 7, she's like, "Okay, now I'll go." But I also think, do you think if she feels that she has to be alone there? Because I drop her and go, come back, and then finish my work, and then come back to pick her up. So maybe I should get down and walk with her.
No, okay, so that's an interesting point, right? Because what we're doing, teenagers, especially at that 15-year-old age, they are actually looking for independence. They are
Mm.
seeking things that say, I want to be me, I want to be my person, I want to have my independence from my parents.
Mhm.
But I don't want the full consequences of being an adult yet.
Mm. Yep.
So let her walk on her own. It's your job now to say, so tell me, Isha, when you go there on your own, what is it that's going on in your mind? Right. And have her notice, and you do this without shame or judgment. What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are the sensations? Because we all have an inner voice and an inner critic.
Mhm.
Her inner voice is saying, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to
Mhm.
get there early. I don't want to have an awkward silence with a player that I don't necessarily connect with. I certainly don't want coach asking me how the day was,
Mhm.
right? So, what we've got to find out as parents is saying, what is that inner dialogue? What is the inner conversation that's happening?
Mm.
And then we've got to normalize fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
If we normalize it and say, yeah, that's normal, I can see that. I get like that too. When I turn up to a meeting early and
Mhm.
no one's there, I kind of
Yeah.
feel a little awkward. It's a
Yeah.
little bit of a fear for me as well.
Mhm.
And then when we actually get that out and say, yeah, it's normal to feel anxious, it's
Mhm.
normal to feel afraid, it's normal to feel all of these emotions,
Yeah.
but they are just signals.
Mhm.
They're just signals. They're just the body telling us that's a scary place to be.
Mhm.
And we can be controlled by those signals and
Right.
not step into our brilliance, or we can start to learn to grow confidence and step in anyway. Okay, I'm just
Right.
going to do it anyway. What have I got to lose? But for a kid, that's not easy to do,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
as a parent, our job now is to go, hey, this is your journey, not mine. Away you
Mhm.
go. Let her know your value of timing and timeliness.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is an important value to me.
Yeah.
I find it important. I have to do this as well because my dad was a military man. So if I
Mhm.
wasn't 5 minutes early, I was late.
Mhm.
Everywhere we went, if I wasn't early, I was late. It was ridiculous
Mhm.
how on time. And I've brought that into my life.
Mhm.
Everywhere I go, I'm early. And
Mhm.
it drives my wife insane and my kids because I'm going, no, we've got to get there early. And they were like, why do we need to get there early? We don't need to get there early. This is so it's okay. This is a value of mine.
Mhm.
So is where we're going a timeline that's important, a start of a practice,
Mhm.
like a start of a meeting,
Mhm.
important to get there on time? Or
Yeah.
is this just a social event where I can be there within that 30-minute window?
Mhm.
And they're
Yeah.
the conversations I have with my wife and kids now. And if it's a social event where I've got a 30-minute window, fine, let me know when you've got to leave.
Mhm. Yeah.
But if it's a 7 o'clock start, then now my value comes into importance. And I'm saying, no, we're going to get there at 5 to 7.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
think
And
so.
then,
Yeah.
and then explain why that is important to you.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
she will sit there. Eventually, it will take a little while. She'll sit there and go, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
stuff.
she's gotten better, but the consistency, right? All these things you said, it will help me when I use those techniques. It will help me build consistency
Yes.
in that,
Yeah.
right? Then it's long term. It's going to be a muscle memory for them, right? It's going to be like, okay, I see the value, right? But you have to get there, right? Slowly, step by step.
It's not going to be an overnight transformation. You're not going to be tomorrow morning her knocking on your door saying, "Mum, it's time to leave. We've got to be there early." Right?
Yeah,
Both of
yeah,
you have got to go through this little transition of, gosh, she's annoying me and she's pressing all of my buttons.
yeah.
And there is a technique that you can use in that moment, which is
Mm-hmm.
take a deep breath because we've got to regulate our nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Deep breath. And
Yeah.
then notice the story that's going on in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
She's pressing the buttons on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a story that you'll tell yourself.
I made up myself, right? Yeah, I think the biggest point I like for me the takeaway is you said how she behaves that she doesn't want to be there being in an awkward moment. For me, the value which is imprinted in my mind about being early, I want to avoid that situation, even facing that situation. So
Mhm.
my body and mind is trying to shield it by pushing
Mhm.
her and like screaming at her, we are late, I think it works both ways, right? Because it's protecting us from
Yeah.
facing that situation because you have the fear of being late, even if you're
Mhm.
only like on time, you think you're late because that's what
Yeah.
you have told your mind for years and years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. Yeah, and this is getting understanding our own mechanisms with this, right? It's not just about the kid and the consistency and playing. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we as parents want to understand and learn about ourselves. What is your inner voice telling you about being on time?
Mm-hmm.
There's a critic in there somewhere or a voice saying you've got to be on time because otherwise you're going to have to explain yourself, do this, you're going to have to do this. And so let's be on time. So
Mm-hmm.
that triggers your inner I call it my inner monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Triggers your inner monkey to start screaming at you and create an emotional response, which then in turn puts you in front of Isha saying, "We're gonna be late, we're gonna be late," which
Yeah,
triggers her emotional response, and so now we're both in an emotional
yeah,
situation,
yeah.
and we're fighting as we go out the door.
Mm-hmm.
The simple response for you to start off with is, "There's that thought again. Notice
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Notice it. I see the thought
Yep.
of me and my inner critic telling me that I'm gonna be late.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
notice it, name it. Where did it come from? What's the history? What's the story behind that? Am I good enough? I can't do this. I'm not good enough, right? I'll always be late. Whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
I have to explain myself. Name it. And then what would be the next action I can use right now to help Isha understand the importance of being on time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 And then getting her to start owning her own timeliness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Isha, we've got to be there at 5 to 7. Takes 15 minutes to get there, which means leaving at 6:40. It
Mm-hmm.
takes you 15 minutes to get ready, so that's 6:25 you should start getting ready. Plus
Mm-hmm.
a distraction, let's build 5 minutes in that. So that means, Isha, if you want to be there on time, we've got to leave you've got to start getting ready at 6:20. Are you ready to do that and get her to commit to that?
Right.
And then if she's not, start letting her experience the consequence of being late.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's another way to learn, right? Another way to
Yeah.
learn. We don't want our kids to go through it, but sometimes,
Yeah.
you know what? You learn the hard way, right?
Because if she's 5 minutes late to practice, "Hey, Ish, you're 5 minutes late. You could
Yeah.
owe us a lap on time." Right? Now, I understand there are reasons why people are late. Accident,
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
There's reasons why
Traffic.
people are late.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you start getting her to own her own timeliness, you're now teaching her how she deals with it rather than imposing your value of timeliness on her.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So she can build her own value rather than being
Mm.
just us putting that pressure on them like, hey, this is what I saw, you should follow this because you're my child, right? Then
Yes.
they feel like they don't have freedom, right? Like you said, the
Yes.
point you made before, especially at this age. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something for you to try this week. So as you go through this next week or so, start
Mhm.
asking her what time she wants to be at practice.
Yep.
Ask her, what time do you want to arrive at practice? Okay. So then give her the calculation. How long
Mhm.
does it take us to get to practice? 15 minutes.
Yep.
How long does it take you to get ready? 15 minutes. So what time do we need to leave?
Right. Right. Yeah. I'm
And
going to
then
try do
say,
that. Yeah.
then say to her, okay, I'll
Mm.
be ready at 6:30.
Mhm.
I'll be waiting. You tell
Mm.
me when you want to leave. And if
Yeah.
you're late, then the consequence is what? What is the
Mhm.
consequence of being late?
Right. Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that you, Isha, and your coach, in this case me,
Yeah.
can figure out. Okay.
Yeah.
So for every 5 minutes late, Isha, for every 5 minutes you're late or fraction thereof, maybe you owe me a lap
Yep. Yep. Yep.
because now this is yours, not your mother's.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. That'll be that's a great point because then they're like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to be on time. And you have
Right.
to do it in front of everybody, right?
Yes. And then the other part of this is there's less stress in the drive there because now
Yeah.
you're working with her, right? If traffic is heavy or there's an accident, then you can simply say to Isha, "Hey, text your coach and let him know you're going to be late."
Yeah.
Fantastic. No
Yeah.
consequence.
Yeah, exactly, because there's a reason, right? Because you
Yeah.
still got ready on time. You're like meeting all these unexpected stuff. So coach knows she
Yeah.
she she's late for a reason.
And now your job within this is to find and name, notice and name your own inner conversation as you start to let go of control
Yeah.
of your daughter's life and start giving her the journey
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be scary for you too.
Yeah.
Oh, that means, oh, I'm going to do this. That means she's going to grow up as she'll always be late. There'll be an
Yeah.
internal story that will start to happen for you.
Yeah.
So start to notice it, name it, and then just give it the space to be there and say, "Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
understand. This
Yeah,
is
because
her
it's
journey, not
trying
mine."
to protect you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's there protecting you as much as hers is trying to protect hers.
Yeah. 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 That's I'm gonna try it this week on
Good,
everything.
good.
It's like a lot of things. Everywhere when we go, we have this huge back and forth argument. I wanna I'm like sometimes I'm like, I'm tired of this. What do I do? So I think I have some homework to do for myself as well. Like observe the story, give it a name. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I see you. I respect you're trying to protect me, but like let's do it this way and see, right? Then that becomes a better story in our head that hey,
mhm,
let's give
yeah.
them the journey of experiencing to build their own path, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And be kind to yourself in this journey because it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
You're going to slip and fall more often than you can imagine and the
Hmm.
story will capture you quite often. The thing to remember is, "Oh, I've been hooked again. I've been caught in that story loop again." Okay, I can
Hmm.
let it go. Thank
Uh-huh.
you. I can move on to the next. I understand that being on time is a value of mine. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Yep.
This is good. And then we're
Yep.
teaching our kids to do the same. And then as we keep continuing to grow, it's going to serve our kids and us well. So be kind to yourself on that journey. I fail more often than I succeed, but I keep trying. I keep
Yeah.
trying. And that's part of the key right there.
That's fabulous. Thank you, coach,
Yes.
for that advice because that's going to be really really valuable for me as well as her. Because
Yeah.
for me to be kind to my like how to be kind to myself, right? Because oftentimes we are in this pretty fast cycle where we are
Hmm.
like, oh my god, like I'm breaking all my rules. The
Yeah.
the the little person in your head is saying that to you. Oh,
Yeah.
you broke all the rules. Then your
Yeah.
ego starts playing with you, right? See what you've done to yourself. I'm like, I think I needed that the advice you gave me. I definitely need that in
Yeah.
especially dealing with a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. It's hard work. It is a journey, but we're all on the same journey together. So that's the point of this podcast. What I want to do in this podcast is walk people on the journey. So thank you for showing up today. Thank you for that challenge of dealing with something that parents across the country deal with, right? How do we teach these kids to be on time? Not all kids need it, but there are a lot of kids out there that do. So thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for letting this unfold into a really cool first episode.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you for giving me this forum because I'm hope to come back in few months and talk to you about the success for sure. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that
I
part
can't
for sure.
wait. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yep.
That will be an awesome that will be an awesome conversation to have for sure. So,
Yep.
um, thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for being my guest, and thank you for listening to the Confidence in Action podcast. Your next step this week is to start noticing your own inner dialogue. If you want a tool from today, I will actually drop something in the notes for you that will help you understand what it means to allow your children to start owning their own journey and stepping into independence and owning some of the consequences. And you can share this with a parent or player who needs it, and follow our
Mhm.
new episode every Thursday. I'm Coach Tony. Go out there and have some fun and play free.
Thank you, coach. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.